Assalamualaikum, and we are from Group 2 and would present for the Chapter 2 about the personal financial planning. So before that, I will introduce all the members in this group. And first is me, NAZATUL SHAZMAHIRA NATASYA binti HASSAN. And the second one is NORATASHA. And next is AFRINA. And the next one is NURIN ANEESYAH. And the last one is Nadhirah. Alright, first and foremost, for our issue, we have found that related with the chapter 2 is poor financial management. So I will begin from here, and based on this statistic is from the Department of Statistics Malaysia. It is show that the trend of household average consumption expenditure. Firstly, for the T20 group, significantly decreased in the consumption expenditure, and this group of income obviously declined different with the other groups. So it is show that the trend it is not a good level for T20, and we can see that from the others group of income still have a decreasing, but not too obvious like T20 group. As much as 63% was decreased in the consumption expenditure since MCO was started. And now for the pink bar, from that we can see that something went wrong in their financial management. Okay, next, due to this pandemic, for the T20 group also affected, and their expenses was limited since they less in a make monthly saving before MCO was happened. So focus on the T20 trend show before MCO. For the red bar, the average in the consumption expenditure is in a high level, but unexpectedly this pandemic happened and they never prepare any backup plan in the financial income. Indirectly they couldn't spend more like before MCO. Alright, the last one is about the jobless people that quite difficult to make a saving and also cannot spend frequently because of the lack of the skill to manage their financial, since their income is not too stable. It is because during MCO, many people lost their job but still have a liability to settle down every month. From that, they need to control all their unnecessary expenses for the sake of the fixed liability that need to pay. Right, next, it is about the Malaysian saving. So with the proof from the article that show, among the Malaysian finding is hard to save money in every single month. So as we can see from the article, 12.5% household income is less than 2,500 ringgit, and the second one is 20% of household from the M40 group have moved to the B40 groups, and the last one is for the top 20 group are also affected by the COVID-19 pandemic and also shift to the M40 group. So from here we can conclude that the changes of each group, the amount of their salary might be decreasing in the monthly income, but hard for them, their liability didn't change and compulsory need to pay it every single month. So if their fixed liability quite high and all the balance of income they not manage wisely, indirectly they couldn't make a monthly saving. Okay, now we continue with the mean monthly household income and expenditure in Malaysia. So follow the trend above, the mean monthly household income was increasing. Same goes to the mean monthly household expenditure in Malaysia. So the mean monthly household income was rising 4.2% from the 6,985 in 2016 to 7,901 in 2019, only within 3 years. So for the mean monthly household expenditure was increasing 3.6% from 2016 until 2022, when the household income keep increasing and the household expenditure also higher there that they was spent based on the mean statistic.
I will talk about saving statistic in Malaysia. This statistic is from Ringgit Plus team that conduct a survey to prove that some Malaysians are not make any saving, or it's like they are not make saving even they are earning more or get high salary. So I am sure that people must think that when someone gets to increase their salary or earning, they will save more too, right? But actually it is not. It has been proven in this survey that middle income trap is very apparent among Malaysians, where an increased salary do not equate to proportionally increased saving. Okay, let's take a look at the bar chart. As we can see, 88% of Malaysian earning between RM2,000 to RM5,000 and 31% of Malaysian earning between RM10,000 above save less than 1,000 monthly. It is worrying when Malaysia, who earn more than 10,000 ringgit Malaysia a month, or what we can consider as a high income group, do not even save 10% of their salaries, and why this 31% of Malaysians is only save less than RM 10,000 ringgit when they actually can save more money as they are saving, not like other income group that less than them. Right. So lastly, this survey also found that nearly half of Malaysians, which is 47% of Malaysia and less than 2,000 a month, do not or most likely cannot save money in a month. Hence, I also found another survey from Malaysia Economic Monitor that Malaysian households, particularly lower income households, do not have adequate financial saving. A large share of working adults, especially those earning below 40,000 ringgit Malaysia, feel under pressure with their current financial position. As we can see on the figure 3, Malaysia's household saving rate is low compared to other countries like Korea, China, and United States and other competitors. Or in other words, Malaysia are one of the lowest rate of household saving, which our gross household saving rates is in Malaysia is 1.5% of adjusted disposable income compared to 7.8% in the United States and 9.6% in China in 2050. In fact, 37% of households with income below 2,000 ringgit Malaysia said they do not save at all. And as we look at figure 4, about half of Malaysian households do not have sufficient savings to cope with unforeseen financial shocks such as emergencies, medical bills, or job loss. Among the millennials who save part of their income, approximately 60% of have savings that amount to 3 months' income or less.
I will explain about the planning for retirement. Many citizens in Malaysia are still not aware of their financial position after they retire. They still have insufficient money to continue their life. By looking at the first picture in the slide, 41% of Malaysians depend on the EPF, Employee Provident Fund money, for their retirement income. It shows that they do not have any other sources of income. Besides, they also are not confident in having enough money or income for their retirement life. The second picture explains about EPF saving. 88% of the active members of EPF are having insufficient amounts in their savings. Means that their saving do not achieve the requirement amount that has been provided in basic saving. In basic saving, it recommended that at the age 55 years old, in the EPF account must have 240,000 and can withdraw 1,000 every month. Next, I will explain about the financing status of urban poor youth. Based on the table given, for the saving and investment, the urban poor youth group have secured their financials in Employee Provident Fund and other investment. 69% of them keep their money in EPF and make it as their primary saving alternative. Besides, they also invest in tabung haji and unit trust. It is more worrying about their debt because they are engaged in debt even though they are still young. They have a mortgage debt of 54.3%, personal loan in 33.3%, housing loans in 30.2%, and credit cards in 13.1%. In this data, it shows that the young people are spending their income more to pay their debt. In addition, they are also struggling to manage their money for personal expenses. If they have insufficient amounts, it will lead them to borrow money from their friends. If they continue to be like this, they will have trouble in their financing in future. Even though they have their Employee Provident Fund money, maybe they will use that money to pay their debt. Consequently, they use their saving to pay their debt. It shows that they have poor management skills.
Next is asset to debt ratio. So for asset, we can see that now mostly youths, especially in urban area, own at least a motorcycle, right? Here, a proof in this study, it states that 69% of youth own vehicle and 32% of youth own house. So when they have an asset like vehicles, house, of course, they will need to make a loan and make repayment of the loan that makes them have a long-term debt. As you can see on the pie chart, 33% of the youths have equal asset and debt. 20% of the youths have more asset and then debt. And the worrying part is 47% of the youth have more debt than asset. So it has been clearly said that youths are highly engaged with debts. If debt is higher than asset, there will be obligation for the youth to take up loans in future. However, the youths really need to make consideration if they want to take another loan, because in the situation of youth that having more debt, there will be the chances for them to be declared bankrupt. Because of that, according to Malaysian Bankruptcy Act 1967, a person can be declared bankrupt if he is unable to pay debt at least RM30,000 Malaysia.
I will present the level of financial literacy in Malaysia by category. A survey conducted by the population in Malaysia for the gender category found that figures show that there is no significant difference between Malaysian women and men in their level of financial literacy at the basic and advanced level. For the marital status category, almost 55% of Malaysians who are married have a high level of basic financial literacy, although the initial financial literacy was lower, which is 40%, but still higher than the other groups. Single Malaysians are the second group in marital status in terms of their level of financial literacy. However, the level of financial literacy is more or less the same among divorced and widow Malaysians. Education category, there is a clear pattern with highly educated individuals more likely to have high financial literacy scores in Malaysia. More than 60% of postgraduate individuals have basic financial literacy, which falls to 20% among individuals with a high school education level. On the other hand, although the advanced level of financial literacy has a relationship with the increase in the level of education, but it is lower than the basic financial literacy. More interestingly, this relationship is so clear with having an economic and financial education. In other words, individuals who have a lot of economic and financial studies are more financially literate than others who do not have any study in this field. Next, the categorical race in Malaysia. Among the three ethnic groups, the Chinese have a higher level of financial literacy, although this difference is not so much with the Malay respondents. The figure shows that the level of financial literacy among Indians is lower than the general level of financial literacy in Malaysia. About each category, there are also significant changes in financial literacy according to each. Individuals in the age range of 18 until 29 are associated with higher level of financial literacy in both basic and advanced levels, while with increasing age, the level of financial literacy decreased significantly. This figure shows that the older respondents, which is 60 years and above, have the lowest level of financial literacy. Lastly, income category. Income patterns indicate that respondents from high-income households are more likely to be at the highest levels of financial literacy, both in the early and basic stages. Interestingly, the basic financial literacy level for people in the first two groups, which is 3,000 ringgit and below, and 3,001 ringgit until 6,000, are almost at the same level. Overall, the finding of analysis shows that generally 51.54% of Malaysians know the basic financial knowledge, and this figure dropped to 37% for advanced financial literacy. Related to average annual growth in 2009, the report on Financial Stability and Payment System Report 2010 issued by Nadhirah Malaysia shows an increase by 7.7% in personal consumption, while household debt, which is 7.1%, is higher than the income per capita, which was 4.6% as shown in this figure. In other words, there is a relationship between financial difficulties and individuals and household financial situation, which leads to an increase in household debts and compared to income group. In general, the statistic above reflects that Malaysians prefer to purchase goods on credit beyond their level of affordability. That's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter.
So next, I will explain the solutions after we already discussed the issue. So the solution that will be given is government can collaboration with private sector to provide every month or at least 3 months of financial education program. It means that every employee compulsory to attend in order to prevent any action taken. Why? Why everyone need to attend financial education program? So it can be proven through the current state of financial literacy in Malaysia in the next slide. So based on the current state of financial literacy in Malaysia, we can see the level of education here very worried. When Malaysia literally have low confidence regarding their own financial knowledge. 1 in 3 Malaysians already rate themselves to be of low financial knowledge. Lower income households also tend to have lower financial knowledge. 75% of Malaysians understand that the inflation means the cost of living is rising, and only 38% can relate the effect of inflation on their own purchasing power. And lastly, 43% of Malaysians understand that the growth of money is compounded over time, while 22% believe that money grows on linear basis. So based on this statistic of financial literacy in Malaysia under level of education, we can see that their lack of exposure to the knowledge that leads to poor financial management, such as no savings, a lot of debts until their bankruptcy, and so on. So here, I'll provide the effect of improving or increasing the level of financial education in every employee. So first, when everyone has higher level of financial education in themselves, it will lead to being a good financial well-being. What does it mean? It means individuals with precise understanding of financial well-being may help to initiate an effective economic policy for achieving sustainable living standards. Since financial well-being is the perceptions of being able to present an expected aspiration for living standard and financial freedom. Next is good financial behavior. Individuals who have good financial behavior associated with financial management techniques and their financial satisfactions. In financial behavior include the investment behavior for short-term and long-term, saving behavior, credit usage, expenditure behavior, and others. And lastly is good financial literacy. Individuals that have good financial literacy have the capacity to understand and examine options for funding, preparing for the future, and responding adequately to the situations. Good financial literacy provides individuals successful experience to involve in economic activities via increased deposits, appropriate buying decisions, correct investing, land management, employee security, debt, as well as enhancing the financial well-being. So I can conclude from here, when everyone gets knowledge or exposure about financial management or education, it will prevent them from the issue we have discussed. So I think that's all from me and my group members. Thank you.